Spotlight Life event. Host Shah Fazli. Guest Eric Hicks. Shah Fazli. Eric Hicks, thanks for coming to Spotlight. Shall we start this interview with knowing a little bit about yourself? Do you write to earn your living? If not, tell us how is everything for you, please. Eric Hicks. Hello Shah. Thank you for having me on the Spotlight show. I really earn my living as a special effects coordinator in the motion picture industry, and write on the side, such as my Buffalo Soldier novel, Rescue at Pine Ridge, based on my mini-series/feature film project now in pre-production. Shah Fazli, tell us more about the connection between your work as a special effect coordinator and your writing, please. Eric Hicks. Good question. I started writing because there was a lack of good hero African-American/Black movies being produced, and I wanted to make a difference, and show how America became to be. Shah Fazli. Thanks. Do you make any of your books into a film? If yes, how and which company is involved, please? Eric Hicks. No. This is currently my only novel in consideration for movie form. I actually wrote the mini-series first, then the novel to keep the story alive. I wrote the mini-series about 11 years ago and the novel 7 years later. I have another epic script I wrote, entitled Stagecoach Mary, which I am just finishing writing in novel form. Shah Fazli. Which one comes first in your life, working as a coordinator or writing? Tell us about your job as well. What do you have to do there? Eric Hicks. Well, I love my work as a special effects coordinator and writing Hollywood scripts to help bolster the history of African-American/Blacks and the novels, to bolster the script ideas. I'm the first African American to obtain this license, which achievement marks a milestone in the Hollywood motion picture and television industry. My special effects license qualifies me to plan, lead, coordinate, and determine the safety of every action sequences, from stunts to major explosions, to achieve a realistic scene. Please review the behind-the-scenes video on Vimeo and look to the 5-minute mark. Shah Fazli. What is your novel about? You may want to tell us a little, please. Eric Hicks. My novel, Rescue at Pine Ridge, is the epic story of the 9th Cavalry from its congressional conception in 1866 to the rescue of the famed 7th Cavalry by the 9th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers, 1890. The 7th Cavalry was entrapped again after the Little Big Horn Massacre, 14 years later, the day after the Wounded Knee Massacre. If it wasn't for the 9th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers, there would have been a second massacre of the 7th Cavalry. The story embodies the Native Americans, outlaws, and African-American/Black soldiers, Buffalo Soldiers, from the east to the west, from the south to the north, in the days of the Native American Wars with the approaching United States of America. This story is about brutality, compassion, reprisal, bravery, heroism, redemption, and gallantry. Shah Fazli. Do you want to read from your book for us, please? Eric Hicks. Captain Carroll and his date marvel at the extravaganza as Sergeant Shaw escorts them to the bar. When they reach the bar through the crowd, Sergeant Jordan reaches into a box on the bar and brings out 4 cigars, the best of that time. Sergeant Jordan then hands one each to Colonel Hatch, Captain Carroll, and Sergeant Shaw, keeping one for himself. He lights Colonel Hatch a cigar, as Mrs. Hatch looks to Captain Carroll and says, "Brandy, Captain, for you and the lady." "Why, yes, thank you, Mrs. Hatch," says Captain Carroll. Captain Carroll bows his head to Mrs. Hatch, and she then looks to the bartender to place her order. Sergeant Jordan has finished lighting Captain Carroll's cigar, and then lights his own. After lighting his cigar, Sergeant Jordan looks up and sees Corporal Wilson in the background waving respectfully for him and Sergeant Shaw to come to his locality near the band. Sergeant Jordan taps Sergeant Shaw on the shoulder and points to Corporal Wilson, signaling to them. Sergeant Shaw looks at Corporal Wilson, then to Colonel Hatch, his wife, to Captain Carroll, and to his date, and says, "Sirs, madams, please excuse us. We need to attend to affairs." "Certainly, Sergeant, go ahead," says Colonel Hatch. Sergeants Jordan and Shaw bow their heads to the ladies and walk towards Corporal Wilson, who is standing near Sergeant Major Brown. Captain Carroll takes his brandy glass off the bar, toasts the ladies, then with a bewildered expression, looks to the flags in the foyer, then to Colonel Hatch and says, "Colonel, what are those two other flags the soldiers have standing alongside the United States flag?" "Captain, the black and red flag with the palm tree in the center is Haitian, and the other flag, the one that looks like ours except for the 11 stripes, and the one large white star in the blue pattern is Liberian. They use these flags at all their gatherings. It symbolizes parts of their African ancestry." I see, Colonel. Is this proper and respectful? I've heard many stories about these men that bring into question their capabilities and loyalties. Captain, for the Buffalo Soldier, proper and respect have never crossed their path. Having pride in their ancestry, and of the slave issue, there is nothing wrong with the captain. As for their capabilities and loyalties, they're impeccable. Tomorrow morning, Captain, I'll share a letter with you that I'm sending to General Pope regarding the latest travesties that happened to these marvelous soldiers. After Colonel Hatch's comment, Captain Carroll looks out into the assembly hall towards the Buffalo Soldiers, to the 9th Cavalry Band, to the extravaganza. He begins to realize that there is something special about these men. As the gala continues, Sergeants Jordan and Shaw stand near the band, as Sergeant Shaw whispers into the adjutant's ear, "Shah Fazli thinks you're actually working for Hollywood. Can you name a few actors or singers you come across with or work with?" Eric Hicks working on a production project currently, The Lone Ranger, starring Johnny Depp. As you'll see in the post above, I work with entertainers too like Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. Shah Fazli, what do you want add at the end of this interview, please, as we are running out of time, I am afraid. Eric Hicks, please tell all your family, friends and associates to purchase Rescue at Pine Ridge. 5 stars Amazon internationally, Germany, Europe, Australia, New Zealand and America and Barnes & Noble. Thank you very much for the interview, Shah. Shah Fazli, such a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much. We enjoyed our time. Shah Fazli, to book or give feedback, visit www.facebook.com/beinthespotlight. Spotlight. Live Facebook interview with authors and readers. As an author, you get the opportunity to interact with the readers. Ask for an interview by joining